I'm a 22-year-old woman, and my mom is very emotional and quick to react. She's deeply superstitious and holds sentimental value in things. I, however, don't share those beliefs. I'm planning my wedding on a tight budget since both my fiancé and I are students with limited funds. My future mother-in-law offered me her wedding dress from her 2019 marriage, which ended after 9 months. The marriage was a mess. She felt pressured to wed before 40 and was trying to make another man jealous. She was emotional on her wedding day and even kissed her boss in front of her groom. Now, she's bitterly divorced but content living with that same boss. The dress she offered is stunning, fits me perfectly, and comes from a high-end boutique I could never afford. I'm thrilled to wear it and unbothered by her failed marriage. My mom, however, thinks it's a terrible choice, claiming it carries negative vibes. I told her I don't believe in that, and I'm set on wearing it. She called me materialistic and ungrateful, saying my mother-in-law doesn't even care for me. My mother-in-law is generally distant with everyone except her partner, but I think she's fine with me. She's not thrilled about our wedding, believing we're too young, but she's not overly involved. I explained this to my mom, but I stood firm on my decision. Recently, my mom came to my place and took the dress without permission. When I confronted her, she said she was ashamed I'd wear something from a woman with a tainted marriage. I gave her 2 hours to return it or face legal consequences. She brought it back undamaged, but I told her she's no longer welcome in my home. She apologized through tears, saying I'm overreacting since the dress is fine. She argued it's unfair to keep her away, especially if I have kids someday, and that I should understand her perspective as a parent watching her child grow. She thinks a permanent ban is too harsh since no real harm was done. Your mom clearly has issues respecting boundaries, and she crossed a major line by taking the dress. If she thought it was fine, why steal it in the first place, creating all this drama? She didn't want you wearing a dress tied to someone she disapproves of, even if it meant breaking the law and damaging your relationship. Perhaps one day she could rebuild trust enough to be allowed back, supervised, but that's your call alone. She only returned it under threat of police involvement. You're within your rights to set this boundary. She might try to tamper with the dress again if given access. To be safe, consider using passwords with vendors to prevent unauthorized changes. Her actions likely weren't just about bad vibes. It could be envy over your mother-in-law offering such a beautiful, costly dress, possibly feeling it makes her look less caring in comparison. Her choices have consequences. If you have kids, trust becomes even more critical, and right now, she's proven untrustworthy. A lifelong ban might not be the only solution, but she needs to earn back your trust, and if she can't, you're justified in keeping her at a distance. Growing up, my parents' marriage was visibly strained. They shared no common interests, and my dad seemed unhappy at home. A neurosurgeon, he was consumed by his work. He was a decent father but a poor husband. When I was in my final year of high school, he left my mom for his colleague, Abby, another surgeon. My mom was devastated, and it took her years to recover emotionally. My brother and I cut contact with him for about a year but gradually reconnected. 9 months ago, he proposed to Abby, which wasn't surprising but still stung. I told him I wasn't sure about attending their wedding. He's been with Abby for nearly 3 years, and he's like a different person, almost overly joyful, which feels strange to see. I can see Abby suits him better. He and my mom had nothing in common, and she disliked his hobbies like camping and hiking because she avoided anything messy. Abby's more adventurous, and they share everything. He's genuinely happy, and I suppose I'm glad for him. I recently visited them and agreed to attend the wedding. In a private conversation, I told my dad I'd never fully forgive his infidelity, but I see his happiness. He said he wishes my mom well but didn't realize how vital compatibility was when he was younger. Then he made a tasteless joke about needing a bed at work to avoid cheating. It reminded me of rumors from a mutual friend about him and Abby being inappropriate at work. It brought back memories of my mom being blindsided, and how he always seemed eager to leave for work. I lashed out, calling him thoughtless for his constant joking, which strained our relationship when I was younger. I said I wasn't attending the wedding and left. He texted a brief apology, nothing more. Abby sent a lengthy message saying it was just his humor, and I'm overreacting. She asked me to rethink my decision. The wedding's at the end of the month, so I don't have much time to decide. Your dad seems to lack sensitivity, and his behavior might hint at self-centered tendencies. His apology didn't acknowledge the hurt his joke caused, and Abby's message suggests they both think you're overreacting. Her attempt to downplay it shows little understanding of why this is a sore spot. You don't have to forgive his past actions to attend the wedding, but his joke suggests he doesn't fully grasp the pain his choices caused. When you realize you're incompatible with your spouse, you end the marriage, not betray it. Abby's involvement in justifying his behavior is inappropriate. She doesn't get to dictate what upsets you. If she wants you to reconsider, she should stop excusing his actions and give you space to process, respecting that their relationship caused pain. You're justified in needing distance until you're ready to handle their dynamic again. I'm an assistant manager at a busy holiday-themed attraction. It's our peak season, and with 4 other managers out sick, we're severely short-staffed. I'm often the first to arrive and last to leave, managing an overwhelming workload. Typically, we need at least 3 managers per shift, but now it's often just 1 or 2. One head manager, Lisa, has been dating another employee, Jared, for about a year. Lately, Lisa's been leaving shifts early and slacking when present, getting away with it because her boss is rarely around. Her senior manager recently addressed her early departures. Last Saturday, we had an incredibly hectic night, and Lisa and I were the only managers on duty. Today, we were scheduled together again. At 8 p.m., Lisa and Jared decided to stroll through the attraction. Half an hour later, I learned Jared proposed to Lisa, complete with photographers, friends, and family. Lisa took photos, wandered with Jared, and left by 9 p.m., though she was scheduled until 10. Everyone was celebrating their engagement. I was furious. She left me to handle everything alone during a chaotic night, dealing with upset guests and staff issues single-handedly. The next day, in frustration, I emailed HR about Lisa and Jared's engagement happening on work time, calling it unprofessional and costly to the company. A friend said I was wrong to report them and should be happy for them. Lisa didn't plan the proposal, and it's not uncommon for such moments to happen at work. Reporting their joy seems harsh, especially given the stress of recent years. However, it's understandable to be upset if no one informed you in advance, leaving you to manage alone during a critical time. A proposal is wonderful, but abandoning a shift without warning adds unnecessary stress. You didn't interrupt their moment, you reported it the next day. Lisa's pattern of leaving early, especially as a superior, justifies your frustration. I've never had much money, so I, 24, female, always gave my family affordable or handmade Christmas gifts. This year, after a year as a software engineer, I could afford nicer presents. On Christmas Eve, I exchanged gifts with my immediate family, mom, dad, and younger brother. I got my brother, 19, a high-end Alienware gaming laptop, knowing his old one, my hand-me-down from school, was failing. He's a computer science major, like I was, and I wanted him to have something reliable that could also handle gaming for stress relief. On Christmas Day at my grandparents' house, my brother told my uncle and cousins about the laptop. My cousin, 22, male, looked up its price online and shared it with everyone. My uncle assumed my parents bought it, but my dad clarified I did. My cousin asked how I could afford it and what my salary was. I gave a rough estimate. My aunt remarked that I shouldn't earn so much just for playing on computers. I defended myself, saying I worked hard for my job and earned my pay. Later, my uncle called my dad, saying I was out of line for flaunting my income, especially since my cousin is unemployed and struggling. I probably could have deflected with humor, but I answered honestly, thinking my cousin might be curious about a tech career. You answered a direct question. Your cousin and his parents overreacted, likely out of envy. Your aunt's comment was uncalled for, and their sensitivity isn't your responsibility. If they bring it up again, point out they asked first. Your cousin's choice to look up the gift's price was tactless, and your uncle and aunt shouldn't have escalated a simple conversation. Your gender might play a role in their reaction. Would they have cared as much if you were male? Keep succeeding and spend your money as you choose. It's rewarding to provide for yourself and your loved ones. My fiancé has 4 step-siblings from his mom's marriage. She married when he was 16, and he lived with his dad, so he's only close with 2 of them, not in a sibling-like way. We got engaged after 5 years together. His stepsister, Leah, has been with her boyfriend for 2 years and is meticulous, always planning everything. She seemed mildly upset about our engagement, but others told her to calm down, as her own was likely coming. My mother-in-law can be sharp-tongued and critical but loves romance and grand gestures. She was unimpressed with my proposal, which happened privately in our bedroom when I was in pajamas. My fiancé simply gave me the ring box. I'm slightly self-conscious about it but would never tell him, knowing a proposal doesn't define a marriage. My mother-in-law was vocal about her disappointment until asked to stop. Leah recently got engaged with a beautiful proposal at a hot spring during a ski trip. When we saw them, she was thrilled, sharing details. She mentioned her boyfriend jokingly fake proposed the day before, mimicking my proposal to tease her. They laughed, and my mother-in-law said she'd have been devastated. Leah added she panicked briefly until she realized he wouldn't propose so casually after what happened with me. I snapped, saying I was right there. They tried to dismiss it, but I called Leah cruel for sharing the story and said she's as superficial as my mother-in-law, despite criticizing her. Leah apologized via text for upsetting me but said I went too far. Others think I overreacted, and it was just a light-hearted anecdote. They intentionally mocked your proposal, assuming you'd find it funny. Their insensitivity warranted your response. It set a boundary against further disrespect toward you and your fiancé. However, your reaction might stem from personal insecurities about your proposal. Some prefer grand gestures, others don't. You might have communicated your feelings to your fiancé instead of lashing out. Leah shouldn't have shared the story, and your mother-in-law's reaction was excessive. Address your insecurities separately, but their behavior was thoughtless, and your response was understandable.